Hi Jackie, this is Fancy, and I'm looking at your latest iteration of your design. I'm really glad to see that you've gone back to this first version, but we still need to make some changes. So I'm going to tell you what I see. So what I see are points of emphasis, and each of these points of emphasis are gradating across three pathways. Now I feel like that's happening in some of them, but not all of them. So kind of squint my eyes, I kind of see this as the center hub of your point of emphasis. And then it moves across to a pathway here. And then it moves across to another pathway here. Um, so now I'm going to go to the orange. I see your center hub here. Then it moves across, the gradation moves across to the next pathway here. And moves across to this pathway here. Going to the green, moves across this path. So here's your center hub. Here it's moving across pathways. Here's your next one. And then here's your next one. And it's implied because that third pathway is kind of going off the page here. And so on and so forth. This one is your yellow hub. Here's the first pathway. Here's the next pathway. It's kind of interrupted here with the orange. Purple, squinting my eyes. Here's the center. I can see the second pathway, but there's not a third pathway. It's kind of maybe overlapped with the red. And then the blue, I don't see a center hub clearly. Now, if you're moving across pathways with points of emphasis, then you need the minimum of 3 pathways. And they're just like steps in a scale. You have to have equal value contrast. So maybe the hub has values 1 and 2, and then maybe the next pathway has values that are, say, 3 and 4, and then maybe the next pathway has values that are 5 and 6. And within that pathway, they're just kind of alternating or kind of used flatly. You don't get a sense of gradation within the pathway itself. You get a gradation going across the pathways. So with regards to your design, you need to clean up your points of emphasis in places. Now, even though you have the center hub, um, it looks like perhaps, so here your path, here's a light value, and then this is a kind of a darker value. It looks like this darker value is repeated in the next pathway here, and then there's a darker value kind of in the middle of this little square. Maybe to make that pathway more distinct from the hub and make a more definite movement across pathways. So again, maybe this is values 1 and 2, and these are values 3 and 4 all the way around here, and then in the next pathway that surrounds it, maybe values 5 and 6. And so you want to make sure that all these pathways are kind of the same size. And you've done well to sandwich the secondaries within are between the two primary parents. So here's our blue sandwich between here and here. And you've got your blue, your green. Your green is not quite sandwiched, it's kind of a long stretch for transparency, so maybe getting some more yellow in here. You've got the darker values of yellow here, the tints in here, I'm sorry, the shades in here, but getting more of the true representative yellow. And that green takes up a lot as well. Here, that's working. So you've got to form those points of emphasis in a more concrete way, just as I kind of described. And then where they come together, you can start to, have values from the two hue families where their borders meet up um, that demonstrate vanishing boundaries. So, values of red that are similar to the values in the purple. And that way, that'll be a nice smooth transition. So you've got to get rid of some of this overallness. Make these very definite and very concrete and gradating across pathways. Now once you get these points of emphasis cleaned up, you can kind of play with the positions a little bit. Maybe, maybe you want to extend them out one more time. One more pathway. So we've got the hub in the middle. It's kind of 2 by 2. Then we have this is our next step. And then we have this as our next step. You can continue that movement across pathways. That's okay. So if you have values 5 and 6 out here, then you could have, values 7, maybe 6 and 7 out here. This would be the only pathway that shared step 6. Step 6 you might see in here, and also paired with step 5, and this you might have 6s in here paired with step 7 to continue that gradation. So I hope that helps. So you want to, again, give these points of emphasis definite forms. Oh, there was one more thing. In this hub, I see kind of this cross or X shape. In this hub, I see this circular shape. So, and in this one, I see the circular shape. In this one, I see the circular shape. But in this one, I see the X shape. So you want to make sure that your center hubs are consistent. All right, Jackie, onward and upward.